Hello and welcome to The Voluntarist. I wanted to discuss Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. If you watch my videos, you know I think they signify a lack of respect for bedrock libertarian principles from within the party itself. But I've made that point before. In this video, I just want to briefly explain why Johnson and Weld may not be as bad as I originally thought. Just a few days ago, I made a video discussing the recent interviews in which Weld had all but endorsed Hillary Clinton as the next president and essentially announced that he wanted to return to the Republican Party. For these things and his positions on various topics, I called him a disgrace to the Libertarian Party. Then someone commented and told me they had recently registered as libertarians because of the Johnson-Weld ticket. And that made me feel like a dick. I meant what I said, and I still stand behind it. But I remember a time when I was in the religious, socially authoritarian right, listening to Ron Paul wondering why none of the other candidates on stage were able to match his sincerity and logical clarity. The truth is, Ron Paul is not a perfect libertarian, and you would be hard-pressed to find someone who was. But he opened the gate for me to find my own way to voluntarism and the Libertarian Party, even though he ran as a Republican that year. As an aside, I was so entrenched in my statism that it wasn't until Romney lost that election that I did some soul searching. I asked the question, how could this happen? Why would people elect the same garbage president back into office for another 4 years? If I don't consent to be ruled, why must I be ruled anyways? Is there a better way? And I watched a lot of footage from the 2012 campaigns searching for answers until I found Ron Paul again, that odd man who didn't even act like he cared if he won or not, because he seemed to be making a lot more sense than I originally gave him credit for.
Well, he has a different definition of the private sector than I have, because it's a GSC, government-sponsored enterprise. It's completely different. It's a government agency. They get the money and sponsorship. They get mixed up. It's the worst kind of economy. You know, pure private enterprise, more closely probably what Governor Romney is involved with. But if it's government-sponsored, it's a mixture of business and government. It's very, very dangerous. Some people say if it goes to extreme, it becomes fascism, because big business and big government get together. So yes, they get money. And I was talking about that for a long time, the line of credit, the excessive credit from the Federal Reserve, the Community Reinvestment Act. For 10 years or so, the Austrian economists knew there was a bubble, and at this time, nobody was listening or doing anything in the Congress, and then to go to work.
I'm not comparing Bill Weld to Ron Paul. He's not even close. However, if it's true that people tend to become more libertarian over time once exposed to the message of liberty, and these men, Johnson and Weld, can rally the common citizenry behind something remotely resembling a campaign for more freedom, less government, and more personal responsibility, while introducing people to the Libertarian Party who may never have been exposed to it otherwise, then I can make my peace for the time being. I'm just saying that it doesn't really matter who brings the message of liberty to someone, as long as the message is delivered. A despotic warlord could even deliver the message by helping to make the connection between authoritarianism and misery, if you want to think of it that way. Of course, I would have preferred that the party candidates were more principled, but I honestly believe that liberty will win out in the end. So, while I will not be supporting Johnson or Weld, I do welcome all new liberty-minded individuals as allies in our peaceful movement against the growing power of the state. I don't care how you got here, I'm just glad you made it. I'll see you next time.